everybody. Welcome back to Sarah's Table. Pew, 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 pew. I don't know why finger guns today. Finger guns.
It's a finger guns kind of day.
Pew, 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 pew. Today we are going to be playing a game called Where Magic Died by Sascha Moros. It is, as you might guess, maybe a touch more melancholy, which is why I asked Damon to come on.
Your happiest friend.
That is your jam. My name's Sarah Moore. My pronouns are she, her. I'm going to be your host, and there's not really a game master for this because we trade off. But so I guess like facilitator, because I have a feeling I will be looking at the rules more than my co-star here. And I'm going to be your favorite person. Obviously, I'm going to remind you to have some water because you're probably dehydrated. Water. Today is a pretty interesting game because you, as a team of players, will be playing the tower, an old like wizard's tower, and you are playing it after magic in the land has died out. And what happens to you? And you know, there are visitors that come in, and like, how do you affect them and how do they affect you? And I think it's a really interesting sort of framework to be playing around in. But before we play around in it, we are going to do our quick safety discussion, because it is important as a responsible game master and player and human being to make sure that everybody at the table is safe and comfortable. And also so that you at home who are watching know what you're getting into in case you are brand new to the show. Here on Sarah's Table, you will never find sexual violence, violence against children, or withholding food as punishment or starvation. I'm fairly certain, Damon, that I know your lines, but have we added anything new since last time we've played together? Okay,
Nope.
Great. If at any time either one of us wander into something that is outside of where we are comfortable, you can throw up an X, or you can say like, hey, no more, please, and we'll back it up and change, go another direction. But otherwise, I think before we dive headfirst into our shenanigans, I would like you to introduce yourself. Oh, picked it exactly at the time when you were gonna be drinking. Hey, who are you?
Who am I? Well, my name is Damon Vanhee. My pronouns are he, him. And I am the main designer of The Crowned that, Sarah, you're working a ton on.
Yeah,
You're over there.
I'm over there for you? Over?
Yeah.
Which way?
You're that way.
Both ways? We don't know.
Up ways.
Up ways?
Anyways, that's who I am.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play a building.
It's going to play a building. Have you played a building before?
I don't think so. I have played a tower-centric game before, but we were not the tower. We were the last vestiges of people working in the tower.
You were the visitors. As opposed to, well, I mean, now is your chance to be the tower and to like
that's all I've ever wanted.
Mess things up for people, I think.
Yeah.
In a new and different way.
In a new and exciting way.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good being architecture.
I'm sure this is exactly what Sascha Moros thought would happen when they designed this game. They were like, how are we going to make things weird for people? I'm in it. I'm ready for this. There is a very short description of this game. This game is only 3 pages and a cover page. It is quick. It is to the point. It has a token system. It is diceless. It's really just a way for you to collaboratively tell a story, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I thought, let's give it a shot. There is an illustration of what the tower could potentially look like, although we get to decide truly what it looks like when we are the tower. But there's like a little suggestion. And the description is literally just, under the weight of history, magic has died. In its place stands the tower, old and forgotten. The tower, capital T. The tower. That's it. That's the whole description of the thing.
It's great.
This is it right here. You can get this on Drive-Thru RPG or Itch. Maybe it's Itch. I think it's Itch.io. And it is a pay what you want situation. This is a small game designer. If you decide that you are interested in supporting small game designers, which I 100% think you should, it's only a couple dollars. You can go check it out. It's a quick pick up and play situation that might be good for if you have a regular campaign at home, like, we need a breather from everything that's happening, or perhaps your GM needs a night off. This is still a way that you can collectively tell a story. Also, would be very interesting to slip in if you are playing, for example, a tower-centric game. It'd be really cool to be able to add a piece of architecture to your landscape that you have designed as a group that has all of this stuff in the background. It is for up to 5 players. They say, 2 to 5 players, basically. So let me give it a shot. All right. To play the tower, I'm giving you these rules as suggestions and prompts. Mold them to your needs or make your own, which is my favorite kind of game. All right. So magic has died and will not return. Choose one that you once were and might never be again. So we have a couple of options here. Damon, let's figure out together.
Let's do it.
Strangely beloved, a source of power, a beacon to the restless, a haven of safety, a well of wisdom, or the beginning of a journey. So this is a thing that we used to be. Yeah.
Used to represent.
Correct. Yeah. When there was magic.
Yeah. I personally, the one that I was pulled to most is Strangely Beloved. Because I feel like that's really open to interpretation as to which part was the beloved part and which part is the strange part.
It's the strange part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's expand on that a little bit. I like Strangely Beloved. I think it's interesting. I think this is like, is this Strangely Beloved like a distant relative that you like never see, but like have fond memories of, or like an idea, like you love the idea of it? Or is it like, is it Strangely Beloved because sometimes it would like randomly pour thousands of flowers out of the holes of the side of the, like, is it like because of strange occurrences?
I think the way that I kind of thought of it initially was it is beloved in spite of maybe some failings or some accidents. And for whatever reason, the populace at the time kept it around when maybe there were better options, but they were like, no, this is our tower. Obviously, we're going to keep it. Yeah.
What are some of the failings then that we have?
I hadn't thought that far ahead.
That's okay. That's what we're doing.
maybe there are it could have accidents, like mysterious accidents around it, not necessarily nefarious ones, but just like a jinx.
Things don't work properly when you are too near to the tower. Is this here's a good question. Like, what level of technology are we in with this magic?
I don't know.
If we do something that has magic alongside of tech, like is it like, do we like a steampunk kind of level?
Tell you what, I've got some dice next to me.
Mm.
I've got a D20.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to roll it.
Okay.
And then the higher the number, the more advanced the
Technology
tech.
wise, I
How's that
like
sound?
that.
All right.
This is not part of the game official rules, but
This is just how I make
we were
all
given
decisions.
the go ahead in the rules to like add some stuff if we want to. So that's what we're doing here.
All right. Well, I rolled a 7.
A 7, so not very high technology wise.
Yeah, not very high.
So maybe this is like a little above simple machines, right? Like people rely on magic a lot, but also have like figured out workarounds because I think probably not everybody's magical, right?
Sure. That makes sense.
So maybe like your simple machines sort of falter the closer to the tower you get sometimes.
So are we thinking what do you mean simple machines? Like how mechanical are they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think there's probably more than just like wheels and levers. I understand that those are simple machines technically, but like I think that there's probably a little bit more. Like I don't think we have robots or anything, but I think maybe there's like
early industrial era or
like
further back even.
Pretty early industrial era, like right on the cusp there, maybe. I think that there are like for farming, there's probably a little bit more automation. You know, we don't have tractors, but I think that it's like they've sort of in a parallel way maybe set up ways that you can just like Rube Goldberg, like turn a crank and it does a lot of things for you. And so there are like more moving parts that have been put together. And I think maybe sometimes those misbehave the closer that you are to the tower.
I like that.
Which is probably pretty annoying for people who are trying to like make their living.
Right. But it's our tower and we're not going to change it.
Right. But she's our witch. So kind of a thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, cool. So magic has died, but the world went on. So we get to choose 2 things out of this list. Okay. Choose one that has changed and one that hasn't. So there's a bunch of things listed, and we get to choose one that used to be and then one that is still.
Okay.
You stand surrounded by trees. You are the tallest structure around. The voices of wildlife echo through you. Nature's wrath only ever touches you gently. You stand next to a body of clear water. The stars shine brightly in the sky.
Those are really good.
They are really good. I think that I would like to choose the one that hasn't changed. Okay. I think
I'll choose the one that has then.
Nature's wrath only ever touches you gently. I think that's still true. I think there's still something inherent about the tower that like it won't be ravaged by nature.
Okay. I think though I'm picking the one that has changed. And Correct. So I think I want to pick the you are the tallest structure around. So we are no longer then the tallest structure.
So what is the tallest structure now?
I think other buildings.
Like a lot of other buildings? Like, is this like where a city builds up around you and there's just like a little house thing that's still there and it hasn't changed?
Kind of an up situation. Yeah, we could do that. Especially if our tower wasn't super tall to begin with. You know?
So like, how long ago was it that magic died? That now a whole city has built up around it?
Yes.
Good.
I think, yeah, right. Great. I think uh some amount of time, but not like eons
Okay.
or anything like that. I feel like it's maybe not that much
Okay.
time. Like once you shunt magic off as an option, I feel like
You have
more
to adjust
ingenuity comes
pretty
in.
big.
You have to adjust pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like we have definitely changed from like a rural setting to like an urban setting, basically, in
Yeah,
that shift of time.
I
Interesting.
think so.
Um, I mean, I think that's partially why like nature's wrath only ever touches you gently. Like it's not the tallest thing for lightning anymore. Like things, something
Mm,
else would take that up. But I also think that there is something in it that it like earthquake stuff or fire
yeah.
on the same street, and like somehow this tower continues to persist in a way that like
Yeah.
maybe other structures do not. Um, which is probably why it's still there, because people are like, I don't know, man, maybe we shouldn't take it down. Like it seems like it wants to stay up.
Yeah. I like that. Nature's been trying, and yet here it is.
Like it can't bring itself to it's like when really big strong guys are really gentle with toddlers or puppies, like they just can't help it. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, but this one it just be really, oh
Yeah.
just put you down. We'll just scoot you over here and then we'll level everything else. Um all right, cool. Over time, some of history died under its own weight too. Get to choose two things again. And they're referred to as corpses. Choose two
Great.
such corpses to be found inside and around you. A successful revolution, a vulnerable culture,
Hmm.
a disastrous war, a doomed technology, a powerful authority, or a widespread religion. And I'm taking this to mean that, like, those things are no longer with us.
Right.
Like
But there
we
might still be the memory of those things
memory, like the
around us in
vestiges,
some
there's
form.
stuff left over.
Yeah.
It probably affected the culture of the area,
Yeah.
but like they are not here anymore. So like we could each pick one.
I
Do you
like
have
that.
do you have one that jumped out of that list at you?
I really liked a doomed technology.
Just because you like the word doomed.
I do. And I think that it was probably a thing that was doomed by magic while it was still
Oh,
around.
okay. What sort of tech is it?
I don't know. I feel like the tower has had sort of a history that as long as magic was around, it had plenty of adversaries
Mm-hmm.
that fell by the wayside for various reasons. So I don't
Sure.
know that the specific tech necessarily matters in as much as the just the concept of the tower winning out
Mm,
over time is the way that I was kind of envisioning it. So maybe there's several that have
sure.
rolled up, trebuchets or like whatever, but then the tower persisted.
Tower was like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah,
No.
just with magic around, the tower would win.
Okay. I think I'm going to choose a vulnerable culture. And I think that the culture was like, because I think that there was probably a lot more nature around um, prior to when magic was flourishing. And I think that it was probably like, I'm envisioning like a dark crystal kind of gelfling society, like a race of people who relied very heavily on magic um to be able to like survive because I think that they're probably pretty fragile creatures. And so I'm thinking that they probably like maybe lived in like a bog in the area near the tower and magic went away and they could not survive because they couldn't adapt. And so I think there's probably very few of them left. Maybe you run across one that's very old, but like I don't think that there's really like a
Was
culture
their
of them.
fragility the thing that made them vulnerable, or something else?
I
Or
think
their
maybe
innocence, Gelfling style?
yeah, I think they're probably pretty innocent, but I also think that they perhaps their reproduction had a magical element to it. And so they can't make any more now because it needed magic in order to make it happen, like in like an asexual reproduction sort of way, that they required like this dose of magic, which is why they stayed close to the tower.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
And I also think probably maybe they were seen as like they used to interact with the people in the town a lot and now have become like lore in a way that like almost in a like a leprechaun sort of like so there are still some around, and if you see one, it's supposed to be very auspicious, perhaps because there's so few left, to the point where I think probably children just don't believe that they were ever real, that they're just like they are a fairy tale of some kind.
How did they interact with the tower, or did they?
I think they interacted with the tower. I think that they saw it as
like groundskeepers.
Oh, I like that. Like they came in and like maintained it.
Yeah.
Which means that the tower is probably pretty overgrown at this point. Because I would bet also that like they weren't a species that was very like they didn't hang out with humans a lot. Okay. And so perhaps even two chunks of the population, they just assumed that the tower was like maintaining itself because they never had to do anything to it. And it was just like always clean, and there was no, there's no problems with it ever. And like, somehow. So I think that sort of, there were probably ones that like bucked that and would go in and interact with people, which is why there are the stories. But like, I think most of the times they sort of kept to themselves. And I see them as smaller creatures.
All right.
Which I'm clearly going to write a story about when we're done here today. It's just like
obviously
swirling around back there. But still, history went on. Choose a living force that might one day swallow you whole. Uh-oh. An ongoing revolution, a shifting culture, an eternal war, a spreading technology, an expanding authority, or a dominant religion. How allegorical do we want to get with our
I have
game today?
Two that jumped out.
Great.
A powerful authority and an expanding authority and an ongoing revolution. These are all pretty grim. There's nothing just like everything is fine.
I mean, there is a reason why I was like, Damon, would you like to play this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very little everything is fine in this.
Very little everything is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose a shifting culture doesn't necessarily mean that everything is not fine, which is
Sure.
clearly why you skipped it. Um, so do we like the revolution or the authority? Like where, because those are basically on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I narrowed it down to two. I feel
Oh, I
like you
see.
should pick this
My mistake.
one.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that an ongoing revolution is very interesting. I think it gives us a lot more places to go with the
Mm-hmm.
story, because it's by its nature like tumultuous, and there's going to be different factions and a bunch of different things in play. And
Yeah.
so I like the idea of an ongoing revolution. So what are we? Not we. We are the tower. We're fine.
Mm.
What are the people revolting against?
I think there should be. See, it's an ongoing revolution. I think there should be an impending timeline for something
Hmm.
that it is that the people in charge are perhaps not taking seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and then the revolution is about that,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps.
Are we revolting against what sort of government? Like, is this a monarchy, do you think? Or
Mm-hmm.
uh like a dictatorship, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess they could be revolting against some sort of elected officials, a council.
Mm-hmm. A triumvirate.
Mm-hmm.
um okay, I'm just gonna roll it again.
Roll it up. We should
And
establish what it means prior to the roll.
okay,
I
that's
rolled a
fair.
9. What does that mean?
What is that? What does a nine mean? I've done my job. Okay, so I think if we get so I like monarchy. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's pick another one that it could be, and then we will roll
Like
to
above
decide.
10 or 10 and below.
Yeah,
Got it.
or even
Um,
an odd or something.
okay. Well, I mean, I think monarchy. I think maybe monarchy versus dictatorship, right? Like, I
Okay,
mean, both of them are very controlling and run basically by one person, but it sort of means different things, you know?
right, right. Okay. So evens is monarchy, and
Got
odd
it.
is dictatorship.
Okay.
I rolled a 20, so
Wow.
only extremes today.
Okay.
Yeah, so that means a monarchy.
A monarchy. Okay.
Yeah,
So probably the same
maybe
monarchy.
a powerful one because I rolled so high.
Super high. Yeah. So the same monarchy that's probably been in since like when the tower was in full
Hmm.
power with all the magic and everything. And do we think that the monarchy got its power partially from magic? Is this like a magic bestowed the mantle upon me,
Mm-hmm.
or my lineage or whatever? Um,
It could be that the monarchy is in some way responsible for the death of magic,
ooh,
and
that's
the
interesting.
and the people are revolting against that. Just with having with everyone, I assume, having come to rely on it heavily. Once the monarchy causes it to die for what intentional, non-intentional, not
Right.
sure.
Yep.
But if the monarchy isn't going to course correct fast enough to take care of the people, then they would be pretty upset about things, I
Yeah.
would think.
So does the revolution have a name? Do we think? Is there
I
like a
think I think it does, and I think you're gonna come up with a really good one.
I'm gonna say it. That makes total sense. Of
Yeah, I can
course.
give you a countdown if that would be less stressful.
That would
Are
not
you
help
sure?
me. You know what?
Okay,
I appreciate you. Um,
just here to help.
um, I think that I think that I will find it in a moment. Give me some time to stew on that. I'm gonna explain how tokens work in this game while my brain is working on it. Because one of the things that is happening here is that there is a note that says we are to take a token whenever a move results in the force swallowing a part of the visitors or you. So like this ongoing revolution is going to affect the tower and also the visitors that are coming to the tower. And anytime the revolution squashes or swallows part of us, then we take a token. And those tokens are going to help us buy good moves. The only way to get more tokens, though, is to have bad moves happen. So
Fine.
I mean, I think I'm gonna go very like classic Star Wars and just like be be very like, hey, we're rebelling. And so I think maybe they just call it the revolt. Maybe like I think it was a thing that maybe even the monarchy started referring to, you know, those who are revolting, the revolution. And so it just like started leaking out that they were like, yeah, we are the revolt.
Great.
So anytime the revolt eats pieces of us, we get to take a token. All right. Also, here's some fun stuff. Visitors have come to explore us. Who are they? We have some options. We have runaway children. We have someone homeless. We have 2 exiles, or we have the hunted. I mean, I feel like either the exiles or the hunted are interesting to me.
Yeah, I think both of those sound pretty good.
So, do we like... I mean, I think it could be really interesting if it's the hunted, because I feel like that could be people who are hunted by either side.
What sort of people would be caught in the middle of a revolt like that?
Do you think perhaps that there are a very small faction of people who still have a tiny bit of control over magic?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because both sides would very much want those people.
So magic isn't entirely dead. It's just mostly dead.
Yeah.
Which means slightly alive, as we all know.
Slightly alive. Yeah. Maybe it just needs to be covered in chocolate. And then
just like push on its stomach.
Just push on its stomach a little bit.
Pretty hard. That makes sense.
And it'll tell you what's going on. True love, Max. True love.
To Blave.
Humperdinck. Also, now I need to watch that movie again.
Naturally.
If you don't know what we're talking about, shame on you. But go watch The Princess Bride after this. Wait. Also, have you read The Princess Bride?
As opposed to just,
ooh, it's so good.
I have not read it.
It's so good.
I want Peter Falk to read it to me, though.
I know. Well, I mean, I don't know that we can make that happen, but it's such a fun read because he does like chat about stuff like as he's writing it. Also, like the whole the Zoo of Death is hugely expanded.
Yeah.
When he goes into like they find him in the bed. There's not time in the film, obviously, but like he has to like fight his way through a crazy amount of creatures that want to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Get back to that. Maybe on my next one that I read, maybe I'll read from The Princess Bride. Anyway, who are these hunted folk? How many are there? Let's say. How many are left in this little band that have the tiniest bit of magic left?
I think it should be less than 5.
Mm-hmm. All right. So like 4, that is less than 5.
That is less than 5.
Because I know how math works. I'm doing really good. Maker guns.
Oh, they're back.
They're back.
Yeah, I think 4. Let's do 4.
4 with a tiny bit of magic. And I mean like the tiniest bit, right? Like
absolutely.
But it's enough that it's noticeable because people don't have any.
Right.
All right. So now we're going to take some turns. We have 1 token, which means probably that the first thing that has to happen is some sort of bad thing.
Yeah. It's got to be bad because we don't have enough to spend.
Got to be bad. So our options for bad are hostile moves or haunted moves. A hostile move will allow us to take 1 token. A haunted move allows us to take 2 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want some sort of haunted? Are you looking to be hostile or haunted for your first move?
Well, we get more tokens with haunted moves. So I think we have to start with haunted.
Okay. So there's some suggestions here. You can bring the visitors in danger. You can confront the visitors with cursed magic. You can deny the visitors connection to you, or you can make a demand of the visitors.
I think for the first one, it's easy enough to deny the visitors a connection to us by like no one has been to and in the tower for a very long time. And I cannot imagine that the doors are easy to get through or the grounds are easy to cross.
And is it holding out a little bit of magically, or is it literally just like overgrown? Like the door is covered with vines.
I think both. I think without the groundskeepers around, the nature of the tower is to draw strangeness to it. And so I think it is mundanely overgrown, but the placement of those overgrowths are very specific. So easy walkways are blocked, doors are blocked, points of entry are blocked, with vines and trees and things having grown in those specific areas,
right?
Rather than just like a casual overgrowth.
We also get to take a token whenever a move gives the visitors comforts that they did not have. Which does not sound like this one is doing.
No.
So how do they get in?
I think that, sorry, I'm just looking over the moves and the options and things. I'm wondering if them getting in is a thing that we have to spend tokens for.
So they're like on the grounds, but they're not in the tower.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because so like with that haunted move, we would gain 2 tokens,
Giving us 3 because we started with
giving
1.
us 3. But that does mean if you wanted to, for your turn, like the friendly move only costs 2 tokens to open a path,
That's true.
you know.
But I definitely want to make sure that we are not just because of how we play games. I'm not going to make you do all of the bad moves and let me do all of the good moves.
Well, mathematically, I had to do a bad move because we had no tokens to spend.
I know.
But now we've got 3.
Got
so
3.
But I think that's where the visitors are stopping with my move is at the grounds, unable to get into the tower.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm actually going to do a hostile move. I think I'm going to confront the visitors with dead history's tragedy.
Oh.
I think that in their search around the tower to try to like find another way in, that they stumble upon the groundskeeper's like sacred burial ground. Because they would want to be close to the tower because of the symbolism and because of how much they work to maintain it and all of that stuff. And so I think maybe it was an area that was very protected generally. And probably also the tower, when it could exert more magic, would probably have sheltered that space from people. But like, it doesn't have enough left to do that. And so I think, and probably there was also a bit of the groundskeeper's own magic that kept it apart. And so now they've stumbled into this like probably pretty massive graveyard of like an entire species.
Are there defenses, or is it only unsettling now?
I think it's probably pretty unsettling. I think maybe there's a bit of lingering, like perhaps one of the things that they had was a bit of magic that would just make you feel like you weren't supposed to be there. So before you even got there, it would like turn you away. And it's not strong enough to actually turn you away. But when you're there, you have that like, but I don't know that I'm supposed to be here. This feels wrong for me to be in this place. But I think in order for them to get into the tower, they are going to have to go through that area.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the groundskeepers would probably, they also took care of the interior of the tower. They would need a way in and out, which means it's probably also smaller. It's scaled to their size, which would mean that like a human could get in, but boy, it would not be comfortable.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
4 tokens. This is after everyone takes a turn, now we get to decide. The way the mechanic works is that we've both taken a turn. We have either spent or gained tokens. And then we decide together if we want to continue to explore. The visitors will continue to explore. They will move into the tower or leave the tower behind. I think we should keep going. We haven't even gotten in there yet.
Yeah, I think so. So. Is it my turn again? We're going to go back and forth like that?
Okay, so we are exploring. We are continuing to explore, and night comes, so we need to answer one of the following questions. And this is another opportunity for us to answer one. There are 4 questions, which we could theoretically use as like, maybe we see what happens with 4 turns, and we each, at the end of each one, we answer this one of the questions, kind of a thing.
I think those are for if they.
If you didn't, the visitors continue to explore and night comes.
Oh, and then answer that. Okay.
And then answer them. Yeah. So we could spend a couple tokens to what small wonder did the visitors think they saw before sleep took them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the middle two don't cost anything, is how I'm reading it.
Yeah.
What have the visitors brought from the outside world to endure the night? What about you? Do the visitors change to be able to sleep? Or we could gain a token. What strange occurrence disturbs the visitors' sleep?
I think that even though the tower is as overgrown as it is, that the visitors chose to sleep in the last place that they found, which is these groundskeeper cemetery area.
So there's probably weird stuff happening there.
Yeah, and so I think I would like to gain a token as strange occurrences disturbing the visitor's sleep. I think it's given the how hard it is to get any light into this section with all of the overgrowth, that their sleep is often disturbed by little dancing motes of light across the graveyard. Sometimes they might feel it's important to follow them, and others in the group try and keep them in check, and
maybe
just sit down. Yeah. And so I think this first night is probably not the most restful.
Not super restful. Are the moats, do you think, part of the lingering magic from the groundskeepers to keep people away from this area? Or is it something else?
I was thinking it was that. Yeah.
Where would it lead them? Were they to follow it?
I think in this particular instance, because it's only a 1 token gain, not a 2 token gain, that if any of them follow it, it leads them in sort of a weird state throughout the cemetery, but ultimately doesn't harm them beyond denying them sleep, giving them strange dreams. There's just definitely a psychological draw, but not necessarily a physical danger. Without the visitors messing up and doing something weird.
Is it also potentially you could get caught in a loop forever? Like a sort of like a fae? Well,
at least, but at least until daylight.
Daylight will release you.
Yeah.
It's a little headless horseman as well. Like you can you cross the bridge or you make it to dawn and you're good.
Yeah. Both are good.
Okay, cool. All right. So do we want to keep the turn order, or do you want me to go first on this turn?
I think we can keep the turn order.
All right. What do you want to do? We've got 5 tokens.
I think I'm going to do a friendly move by spending 2 tokens.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to choose the give a glimpse into what was preserved.
Oh.
And I think so. I'm spending 2 tokens, so we're back to 3 now.
Back to 3.
I think with the dawn, there's a lot of things that as the tower we had effectively automated with magic.
Okay.
And so there's a bell ringing that happens with the dawn to announce the hour.
Okay.
That are these incredibly loud magical chimes that without being on grounds, you aren't able to hear. So the people in the surrounding city don't know that this is going on. And it is only because this group of visitors has been on tower grounds as the sun is rising, that they get to experience these minor lingering effects of magic in the tower. So they get a bit of a wake up call, bit of an alarm wake up call. It's not a displeasing sound at all, I don't think. It's probably surprising
Sure.
that they, didn't know that this was a thing. But yeah, like a very large, kind of like church bell chimes. Definitely loud and booming, but not unpleasant.
So do you think that gave them any comfort?
Yes, I think in this particular case it did, because we've chosen that these visitors have a magical bent to them.
Okay.
So I think knowing that some of that still exists in a world where magic is dead, finding a place that has that is probably comforting. Maybe also scary.
Little bit of column A, little bit of column B.
Little bit of both. But I think some
that
of
would
them
give us another token
comfort.
because
Okay.
because they are hunted. And
Well,
so
here's the thing then. If we don't take this token, then you have to do another bad thing to them.
I was already going to do a bad thing.
Okay, well, we'll take the token then and go to 4.
Go to 4.
Smash their comfort.
I'm going to do a haunted move.
Okay.
And it's make a demand of the visitors.
Okay.
And
so
I
we're
think
up to 6 tokens.
We're
never going to spend these tokens. We're just going to be mean to these. It's
going to be bad forever. I think that to get into the tower through like the groundskeeper's area, that one of them has to expend all of the magic they have to get in, to open the way.
Like permanently.
Oof.
Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting 2 tokens from it, so that's
It feels like appropriate of a demand, especially because I think this is a situation where like the tower like would be hungry for magic. It existed on magic for so long, and to like it's probably a little distrusting of people, and you probably have to prove that you have some of this with you to get inside. And so I think it's one of those like they're gonna have to put their hand on it, and it's gonna take it. And maybe that is even something that was true always, that this door in you had to use magic to get into it. Because it's a thing that like the groundskeepers could always do, and they had a way of replenishing, or maybe they didn't, but it took such a little amount that it was okay over their lifetime. Maybe you didn't work anymore when you could no longer open the door, because it meant that the amount of magic you had left was too small. And now these humans, these people only have enough to open for one of them to open the door. And that's it. That's all that's left in them.
I like that.
So like one of them. And
do they survive that? Can they?
I think so. I think they are alive, but I think that there's no magic left. And I would imagine that would be like both a relief and incredibly difficult, because now they are of no use to either side in this revolution. So like it takes some pressure off of them, but like it was probably a part of them for so long that like, how do you
there are
lose that?
Four visitors.
4 visitors.
From oldest to youngest, who do you think burnt themselves out?
I think the oldest one.
Okay.
I think this is
Did they know the price, or is this coincidence?
Mm, I feel like it would have been clear
Hmm.
because it is the tower making a demand of the visitors, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's enough of the magic left in the tower itself that I think like it was clear that you can come in, the price is one of you burns yourself out. And I think that this is
Mm-hmm.
a situation where like the oldest would probably be like, I'll make the sacrifice. I can help in other ways. And like this
Mm-hmm.
is something that I can do so that the three of you can potentially like continue.
Okay. I like that.
We are now at the end of the turn. Continue to explore. Yes, you're good for another.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So what question are we answering? How about I'll take this one since you did the
Okay.
last one.
Yep.
And I'm going to do one that neither spends or
Okay.
gains. And it's going to be what about you? Do the visitors change to be able to sleep? Um, and I think now that that door has been opened, uh, no, actually, I think they spend time unblocking the windows to
Hmm.
like let fresh air in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of like how like in wineries they have to like have because of all the off gassing and stuff when
Mm-hmm.
they're making things that they have to like have big open windows at the top that like
Mm-hmm.
allows ventilation to flow through. And I think that the tower has been really like shut up in a way in for a really long time. And so I think they go
Yeah.
in and like open all of that stuff up to partially to like let ventilation in, but I think it like first of all, I think it brings them a little bit of comfort. Was not my intention. Um, so we can take a token for that. But I think it was like I think it like gave relief to the tower in a way that it was not expecting.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and so I think that like that's maybe why they feel more comfortable because the tower became more welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
With that
like
fresh air.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
thanking them for like opening it up. It's been stopped up for a long time. It's like getting that flow back through it.
Yeah.
Um okay.
All
Well, we've
right.
done two turns and all the setup. I think maybe this would be an excellent place for a bio break.
Okay, great.
And then we'll come back and we'll finish up our two turns. Yeah, more turns.
Well, turns.
Okay, so everybody go grab yourself a beverage, and maybe, I don't know, join a revolution, and then we will see you back here in a few moments. Okay, bye. Welcome back from the break. Pew, 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 pew. I guess these are like finger guns, but they're like all five. It's like extra. Everything shoots.
That's not all right. Sure.
No, no.
I don't know that I'm not a gunologist, but I don't know that that's how guns do.
Well, I mean, that's fair. Maybe if they're like magic guns, though.
Oh,
I don't know.
all right. Well,
I just work here. Um, so prior to the break, we did a lot of mean, bad things to the visitors.
We did.
Leaving us with 7 tokens because we have spent, let me just take a look, very little of them. So, what would you like to do? We're back in.
All right. Well, I did a friendly move for them last time.
You did.
But also the eldest just burnt themselves out
That's
in order
true.
to enter the tower.
Correct.
And so I feel like sacrifice like that should be rewarded sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a mystical move, which is spending 4
Spending
tokens.
4, leaving us with 3 currently.
Back down to 3.
Seem to like that 3.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to blur the line between you and the visitors.
Oh, how are you going to do that?
So I think with access to the tower, with access to us, the tower, the visitors have access to some of the amenities. Like the tower itself has not had people with magical capacity on grounds for a while now.
Yeah.
But for those who do have magical capacity, they can make use of many of the things that the tower offers.
Okay.
They may not understand what these things are, but there are amenities. They've got hot water. They've got, like beds that are always at their personal sleep number.
Sure.
There's a kitchen that is stocked and ready in spite of no one being here for ages. It's fresh food. The cupboards refill on their own as long as there are people of magical ability on grounds. And so they've got access to all of these things. And they're beginning to realize that the tower itself holds plenty of secrets for those who are willing to look for it and search for it.
I think that sounds like they have comforts that they did not have prior.
Well, here's the thing.
Tell me.
Yes, I think it does mean that, but I am not sure that it means that for all 4 of them. Because one of them is
no longer has magic.
So they wouldn't trigger any of these things that are effectively automated. So 3 of them, yes, do receive comfort from this. The 4th one, potentially the opposite. So I don't know if we've really earned a token from that or not.
That's fair.
I will leave that open to discussion if you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I would say that probably I think we should take it, and here's why.
Okay.
I think that there's a chance that over the course of its life as a tower, that it hosted non-magical people. That there were always people who had access to magic inside it, but that there would probably be, like traveling dignitaries and things of that nature that would come through and they would stay. And so I think that the tower would accommodate all of the inhabitants as long as at least one person that has access to magic is inside it.
Okay.
So I think
so it's a case of this 4th person could still benefit from what is in there. It just requires help of someone else to access it for them.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I
think
so.
that might start building a little resentment.
But we'll see.
But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Visitors. So that was me. That was my turn.
Um, I am gonna do a haunted move.
Great.
I'm gonna take two more. I'm going to confront the visitors with cursed magic.
Oh, all right.
I think that as they are getting more comfortable in the tower and they are seeing that there's a bunch of stuff and like there is food here and there is, hot water and like the bed is comfortable and clean and like I think they are starting to dig more into things and looking for things that can like what else is in here that can help us and all that stuff. I think that one of them that still has magic goes into the library and opens the wrong book.
Classic.
Yeah, and I think that the curse is that they are frozen.
Oh. In place.
In place.
Yeah.
Stasis
or ice?
Stasis. I think stasis. They are still alive. But they can't move. And I think this is a
Are they cognizant of what's going on, or is their mind in stasis also?
Oh no, I think they are cognizant of what is going on, but they can't communicate it to anyone. And I think it probably takes a while for the others to like realize that they are gone and then find them and then be like, okay, well, now what? So that is where I think we're at with that. That is the end of everyone's turn. I am interested in doing, another one if you are.
Let's do another turn. Let's do it.
Okay, so you would get to answer a question at the end, since we are continuing. The ones that are left are: what have the visitors brought from the outside world to endure the night? Or what small wonder did the visitors think they saw before sleep took them? That one would cost 2 tokens, but we certainly have them.
I think that I am going to spend 2 tokens. And the small wonder that the visitors think they see before sleep takes them is actually they are fairly certain, the youngest in particular is fairly certain that they have seen at least one groundskeeper kicking around within the tower.
Interesting.
The youngest is certain that they've seen them. And then the second youngest is certain that there was some things out of the periphery, corner of their eye. And then the eldest did not see any, which I guess means the third,
the second oldest
is frozen.
Yeah. Well, they're cognizant. They could have. They could have seen him.
I just can't tell anybody. But because this is spending tokens, it should be a good thing for the visitors. So I think it brings hope to the youngest one, certainly. And then I think the eldest is maybe still a little grumpy.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So theoretically, this could potentially be our last turn or our second to last turn. What are you going to do? We have 4 tokens.
Oh, and it's my start.
It's always yours.
Yeah.
Yes, and I shall start this one.
And I shall begin the thing. Let's see. I think I'm going to I think I'm going to do a friendly move.
Okay.
and I'm going to open a path to what appeared unreachable.
Okay.
And so there's a room within the tower that one of them is able to stumble into pretty well.
Okay.
Without much effort, but it's definitely a room that they hadn't noticed before. And I think that within this room is histories, much more up to date than they would have expected, as if perhaps the tower is the one maintaining these records.
Oh, interesting.
As opposed to anyone within the tower specifically. But it talks of the process and birth of magic, and how people with even the smallest of sparks can tap into what is there. And so I think for these visitors, they have spent a long time thinking that they are isolated and without help or path forward. And I think that this might change that perspective a little.
All right. So I think that gives us a little bit of comfort too. Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah.
So
it's definitely a hopeful. Yeah. Bumps us up to 3. So yeah, it's definitely a hopeful thing amidst the ongoing revolution.
I think I would like to also do a friendly move. Means next round's going to be pretty grim.
Yeah.
But the friendly move that I am going to do is lead them to something useful.
Okay.
And I think the youngest is directly contacted by a groundskeeper.
Oh.
And they don't talk to him, but they like do the thing that like your cat does when it wants you to follow you, like follow me this way. Hey, it just sort of like comes over and then like walks a little bit and then like waits and is like, this way. And I think that the groundskeeper leads them to like a particular herb and like makes it clear that if they were to make like a tonic out of it, that they, and then like lead them up to their companion who is frozen.
As a release for them. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Okay. So the question that is left, do you want to do one more round before we decide whether they stay or leave, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's do one more so we can answer all the questions and then jam through the next round.
What have the visitors brought from the outside world to endure the night? I mean, I think they're getting more and more comfortable here, but I also think that they have been spending a lot of their years being hunted, and so it's probably pretty hard to sleep comfortably, even if it's been a couple nights of respite. And I think they each have a comfort item that is like the vestiges of their former life where they were happy and safe. And I think that these people are not all, they are found family as opposed to like blood family. And so I think that they are all ties to their previous, something from a family member that they have, that brings them comfort when they hold it. Which means I guess that it's comfort. So now we're back up to 2. All right, last turn.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna do a haunted move. And I'm going to bring the visitors danger.
Yeah.
Because we haven't done that one yet.
Okay.
And so I think that's going to put us up to 4 tokens. So I think that the the awakening of the grounds, or rather the re-triggering of some of the automation in the grounds, has kicked into overdrive the fact that nature can't really get to the tower. And so the terrain outside that had blocked a lot of entry to the tower and to the grounds has begun to recede now that people with magic are within the tower again, which under normal circumstances would be great and a thing to rejoice. But the fact that we are now in the middle of a city,
that means people can get to it.
The people are noticing that things in the tower are changing, and the trees and the thorns are receding. And so probably people of both sides of the revolution are noticing that the jig is up.
Okay. I'm going to do a mystical move. I'm going to spend our 4 tokens.
Yeah.
And I am going to give the visitors what they will never understand. Which is like a pretty heavy burden, I think. But
lightning powers. Yeah.
Ta-da! I'm going to turn them all into animals. No. I think that the tower amplifies everybody's magic. I think that it, like, they had found the histories, and they had found that the tower had been maintaining, like, this is how magic started, and like anybody with a tiny spark can learn how to use it and nurture it. And like, I think the tower is trying to reawaken magic in the world at large. And so I think that the tower, like, gives everybody like a boost. I think even the one that had burned himself out, because he's been there helping maintain the tower. And I think it's like a in-service kind of like, y'all are my chance to get back into the world kind of a thing. And so I think it like, and I think it shows up as a mark on their body somewhere that like, it was probably also, even though this is a good move, I think it was probably also pretty painful. Like, it just like changed their physiology in a way. And now they're marked forever and have a bunch of magic, which probably makes it more dangerous for them, but also potentially has a way of like moving forward. Yeah. So with that in mind, do we think the visitors permanently move into the tower? Or do we think they flee and leave the tower behind?
My vote is for staying. Because this feels like a symbiotic situation. And I think that they might realize that they won't have access to this new stuff without outside of the tower. And the tower is also vulnerable again. It needs some amount of responsibility as well.
Okay, so if the visitors move into you, answer at least one question each. So there are a couple of questions here. What shadow will always linger throughout their daily life? How do the visitors deal with the living force? Do they stay forever? Who leaves and when? One day new visitors arrived. How are they treated? And which part of you will they never find?
Oh, I like all of these. Do you want to just go down the row?
Sure.
It says answer at least one. Okay, so I think the first one I'd like to take. Okay. What shadow will always linger throughout their daily life? And I think that fourth person, the one who burnt themselves out, is just never very good at anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a thing that they've got enough within them to access the amenities of the tower, but they can't really do anything beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that like their full status has kind of been revoked, and they're getting like some default things just by being in the tower, but like they can't grow or expand the way that the others do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I like that. I'm gonna choose uh I'm gonna choose which part of you will they never find.
Mm.
I think that there is a well of power underneath the tower itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's probably incredibly hard to access unless you are one of the very small groundskeepers. Like even for
Mm-hmm.
groundskeepers, it's probably like it was reserved for like the youngins kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that that part is like really super raw magic and it has not been maintained. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's probably a problem and will be
Yeah,
someday, but like you kind of never know when.
yeah, I like that. All right, I'll take how did the visitors deal with the living force? So the revolution.
Okay.
I think that as we established, the backbone of the revolution was the fact that the monarchy had, through their own actions, intentional or otherwise, destroyed magic.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with the tower awakening, with people inside who clearly are magicians in some capacity,
Mm-hmm.
there is a shift to the revolt in general because the revolutionaries were unhappy with the way the monarchy course corrected with in the face of no magic whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that there is some magic, without all of that even getting resolved, there's just kind of a new direction to point a lot of that animosity towards.
Mm.
And so I feel like there's a bit of a shift from both sides of the both monarchy and the revolt, um, to shift some of that animosity towards the tower itself
Mm.
for their own reasons,
Yeah.
but that does take the heat off of them going after each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the living force is of the revolt is moving towards the tower and definitely encompassing the tower with a lot of the politics, I think.
Yeah. Which just makes it messy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take one day new visitors arrived and how are they treated? I think that word is getting out. And I think slowly people are discovering that maybe the thing that they have thought they were just very good at is actually like using a tiny bit of magic. And they are like making pilgrimages to the tower, basically, to be like, I'm not sure if this is true, but like people to come to be tested to see if they have any little spark of magic. And if they do, like petitioning to stay and like try to learn what they're doing and how to nurture that. And so I think that like slowly their numbers are growing very slowly. And I think that the tower, because of its inherent nature, I think there's somehow always enough room for a new like applicant if they are accepted in.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so I'll take the last one.
Do they stay forever? Who leaves and when? Do they stay forever?
Who leaves and when? Okay, so I'm the answer is sort of. So we've got the four visitors. The youngest, the one who was the first to see the groundskeepers, They stay until their death, which
Okay.
I'm picturing as many, many years later. Potentially, there's even some
are they like
life extending.
extension? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a lot, but maybe like definitely less than like 150, but like spry at 100 kind of
Like
thing.
longer than a regular human lifespan should be.
Right, right. And I think that they bring a lot of people into the tower. They teach a lot of people. I feel like they're big on the nature of magic and the philosophy behind its functionality and how it interconnects with the world around it. I think the second oldest, second youngest, next one up in age. Next one up in age.
Visitor two.
Visitor two stays until they get married, start a family. And I think they are in the tower for a bit, but it can be a bit crowded for non-practitioners. And so I think they move out. This is like years down the road still, potentially post living force. If that stuff, I feel like a lot of the force would kind of dissipate in different ways and become more just like angry politics than like active fighting.
Then like them being hunted still probably not.
Right. And I think the next one up from there,
the one that had been frozen.
The one that had been frozen stays also for a long time with the youngest and stays until their death, but they take the much more studious approach to magic and a much more regimented scientific angle.
Stop opening books. Like last time you opened a book. Books.
But it's going to make them want to open more books.
I know. What happens when I open this one?
Books are portals to other worlds, except for that book, which is actually a portal to another world. Whoops. And then I think the eldest does not stay long at all. I think there's resentment and jealousy and envy. And it gets to the point that even though they have gone through so much together, it is like, too hard to watch the changes and the growth around them. Yeah. And so I feel like they leave.
And probably leave like far, like leave, maybe even leave the city. Like they're just like done over here. Yeah. Like, whereas I think the visitor two who got married and left the tower, they're probably still fairly close proximity wise. Yeah. So they probably come back periodically.
Yeah.
Just don't live there.
Yeah.
I also think that with magic reawakening and things happening, that perhaps there has been the birth of a new groundskeeper. Like,
yeah,
they're not nearly as prolific as they used to be, but like suddenly there is a new one.
Yeah.
That they notice. Like,
I like that.
Well, that's new. That's definitely new. And so, maybe if magic is reawakening a bit, that like it's also maybe and probably the new groundskeeper is changed and adapted in a new way to like what
to
is
make it obvious that it's a new one and not a That's great. I love that.
We did it. That was the tower, or where magic died.
That one. That was really good.
By Sascha Moros. Go get it. It's only a couple of dollars, and it's a really fun storytelling situation.
Yeah. We've done a couple of these. This is the second one that you and I have done together on this show. This kind of cooperative story building game. I really enjoy them.
Me too.
I don't know how I would like them with a larger group. I mean, you and I have done a lot of cooperative story building over the years together anyways.
Yeah.
It might, I don't know, might be an interesting thing with like a full table of 5.
Yeah. Interesting because like, I feel like we sort of took the approach of like, okay, well, there are the 4 questions there. So like maybe we have 5 turns so that 4, we answer 4 questions. Like, but with more things, with like
people.
more folk at the table, like there's going to be way more moves because everybody gets a turn.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Um,
mean, if we had still done the four turn, I mean, there would have been four times as many, you know, like good things and bad
and
things
bad
that
things,
that
yeah,
have
and
happened to
also
these four people.
like things would have to be necessarily like reused. We didn't end up reusing any of them,
Hmm.
but and mainly I think that was just because it was like, well, we haven't done this yet. Let's see what we can do with this thing, kind of a thing.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if we had five people at the table, everybody taking a turn, and we did five turns, like
Yeah,
we'd be making demands of the visitors a bunch. I would, people would, you'd
yeah.
have to come back in and do stuff. And I think it has the potential to be like a lot more tragic, but also kind of amazing for the visitors because of how
Hmm.
how big everything is each turn. Like
We could have
each of
explored
those are
so
days,
much.
right?
Yeah,
Each a day. Like, oh my God, there'd be so much happening in that day. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It might make things muddy and difficult. I feel like
I mean, I think with
with two,
any of this style of game, like if you've got the people at your table that are into cooperative story building like this, you're going to have a great time.
yeah,
Like no matter how many people you've got going.
yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody has to buy in, or I think it would be pretty
Right.
difficult. All right. Well, let's do our I mean, we sort of started it, but like, do you have any moments of gratitude in here?
Yeah, I normally this it's a I in this case I want to give a moment of gratitude to Sascha Moros for writing this
Yeah.
because it was fun and neat and getting to play a building is cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed that aspect very much. It was just like a fun, very approachable game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I know those normally go to the other players, but
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
Writer this
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Writer's time. Yeah. I also think it's like a really cool. I feel like this can fit into, I know I kind of touched on it earlier at the beginning, but like what a great prompt to do with your group,
Hmm.
like with your table of like, hey, we're gonna play whatever this RPG is, and we are setting up our like where we live, and I want there to be elements of long dead magic or new magic
Yeah.
awakening or whatever, and to be able to sort of bring everybody in and have everyone make those choices together. I always think makes whenever you do story and world building with your players, that people are
Hmm.
automatically just like way more bought into
Yeah.
the system and
Yeah,
the game.
absolutely. This would make a great attachment to any game
Yeah.
really that you were running. That was going to be like city focused or building focused or even just like the next arc of whatever long campaign you're running. You're like, hey, we're going to go into a city at some point and like let's determine a little bit about this before we all get there.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was really
Yeah,
fun.
me too.
Hey,
It's good.
thank you for playing. I have
Thanks for
gratitude
having me.
that you said it would be that you were willing to hop on at a sort of a last minute situation and play this game. Like, I don't think I told you what we were playing when I was like, hey, I need you to be
No,
here.
no, but that's your jam though. You're just like,
That's my jam.
here's the link. Just should show up.
Yay.
It's a good strategy though. I gotta admit.
People show
Good
up, they're
strategy.
curious. What are we
Yeah.
doing? We
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? This
Who
link could be
knows?
anything.
Don't click on, as I have said before, don't click on any link that is sent to you. But like you can click on the links that are sent from me.
Hmm.
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 I promise.
Seems like a trap. Just
I mean, I am a rogue, so only you had taken ranks in Rogue, you could check for traps, but you didn't. So
I didn't.
So just click on it.
I did take all of my ranks in not dying to traps though. So I have
that's handy.
Kind of a lazy attitude about it.
Sure.
Anyways.
I'm just gonna walk through the store. Not even looking.
It's fine. I don't even care if I set it off.
It's fine. Yeah. I'll be fine on the other side of it. Oh, probably. Whoops. Hey, Damon, where can we find you on the internet?
In a couple of places. I'm not great at it. The internet, conceptually, actively, all of these things. But I'm on Twitter, both at Damon Vanhee and at _feral. If you are interested in formerly feral games, which I am, because
and everyone should be.
It's my job, and everyone should be because it's dope. And then we're also on Instagram at the Crowned RPG. That's it. That's where I'm on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, formerly feral is also on Facebook.
That's true. And there's a website.
You don't ever touch
formerlyferalgames.com.
That's true.
It's got all the links.
Then you can find all the things.
All the things are there.
All the things. I'm Sarah Moore. You can find me on Facebook at Actor Sarah Moore or everywhere else on the internet at Pixies and Pins. My website is pixiesandpins.com. I don't know what we're playing next week. I have players already lined up, but I don't know what we're playing. We'll find out. Something ridiculous. And you can find me here every Friday night on twitch.tv/GenConTV at Sarah's Table, which airs at 5 p.m. Pacific. I've got some fun stuff coming up. I'm going to do a spotlight on Tabula Sono, which is a terrain, like a digital terrain building situation. We're going to do a little Blades in the Dark action and have some digital stuff to look at, which is, normally here we do Theater of the Mind. So that'll be fun and new and exciting. I have been challenged to do a horror arc. So I don't normally do horror. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try. I'll try to do it. It might turn into just like Joy and Rainbows, but it's going to start horror. I don't know what system we're using yet. Maybe Call of Cthulhu. Maybe if somebody who is watching this right now has made a horror game that they are interested in having me run, I'm down for it. Give me some of that indie yummy goodness. Let's give it a shot. Message me. Figure it out. I would like to thank Gen Con TV for giving me this platform, letting me show all of these fun alternative games that are not your big ones. I would like to thank Marcus Mays for hitting that go button over at Gen Con TV and making sure that my stream is running smoothly. I would like to thank my partner Jeff for always making my overlays look great and for making us all look like we know what we're talking about. Thank you to Peter Atkinson for trusting me to make this game with very little supervision. Shh, don't tell him. He's probably, it's fine. Don't tell him. Damon, thank you for being at my table.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to make you come back again soon.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm going to have you be in the horror game because I think if I run a horror game and not have you in it, I think you'd be very upset.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. And I click on any link that shows up in my email. So
any link.
Statistically, I'm bound to end up somewhere.
Yeah, and we're going to post his email in the chat so you can just send him whatever links you want.
I'll click it.
Click it.
I can't be stopped.
Do not tempt me with a good time. I'm going to click it. Yeah, and thank you at home for watching today. It's been fun and wild, and I will hopefully see you again next week. And if there are more people that I forgot to thank, just know in your heart that I was thinking about you. It's in there. So as always, keep making art and keep being art. We will see you next time. Mwah!